you guys are standing at the end of the driveway, and you look down the road, and all of a sudden you see a guy with a shirt all ripped up and his pants are ripped up, and he's walking and it looks like his left leg is broken, and his right shoulder is dislocated, and you say to yourself, what the heck is going on? And he's walking towards you, and you say, is that what I think it is? It's a zombie? And you say, oh my gosh, it is a zombie. So you go to your shed, and you grab a shovel, because you're going to go pick a little zombie butt, but then you realize it's October 31st, it's Halloween.
Oh.
It's a trick-or-treat. So you run to the store, and you grab, you want to go buy candy and a pumpkin because you're not prepared, you didn't know it was Halloween. So you grab the candy and the pumpkin, and you come back, and you realize, I don't know how to carve a pumpkin. Well, I'm going to demonstrate how to carve a pumpkin for you guys. So the first step would be, you need tools. One of the tools is an ice cream scoop. An ice cream scoop is to scrape out the inner side of the pumpkin to get all the pulp and everything out. Next, you're going to want to use a drywall knife or a keyhole saw. And this is a really good tool because it's rigid, it's got a good point, and it cuts very well. One of the other reasons I use one of these is because it's rubber grip, and when your hands get all messy from pulling out the pulp, it holds pretty well so you won't cut yourself like a regular knife. So then you're going to want to use a marker too. You're going to need a marker to scribe out your face or your pattern, however you want to do it. Preferably a dry eraser or a washable marker, so in case you make a mistake, you can just erase it. You're going to need some damp cloths, a towel to lay down to clean up the mess and everything else. A couple of ways that you can do this is free-handed or a template. Now this would be a template. You just put this on the pumpkin, and then you take a small knife and you scribe out the pattern. And then you take the template off, and then you just cut away at the pattern. So template's an easy way to do it, but it's not as creative if you just do it freehand. I did these free-handed, as you can see. I just threw a marker on there, and we made the mark out, and then I cut it out freehanded. Freehanded is good because basically you can do whatever you want. Your personal touch, no matter what, nothing goes or everything goes. It's free-handed, so it's a good personal way to do it. So once you have the pattern done, you're going to want to carve it. First, you're going to want to cut a top off. What you're going to want to do with the top is cut at a 45-degree angle so you don't let the pumpkin, when you cut it off, so it doesn't fall into the top. So a 45-degree angle to hold it up. And you want to make a cool pattern around it so when it goes back on, it only goes back on one place. And the reason for that is so you want all the light to shine through the face of the pumpkin, not to the top. So 45-degree angle and a nice cool pattern so it fits on nice and tight. Next would be carving the pumpkin. You want to start at the bottom of the pumpkin and work your way up, because if you start at the top of it, usually what you do is you're holding here and you're cutting. So you're putting a lot of pressure right here. So if you cut the eyes out, you're going to break it, so you want to start at the bottom. So you want to cut on a slight inward position so you can have all your eyes showing, and the more light comes out. But I didn't do that here because I wanted to give it some 3D dimension as teeth. But for the eyes, I kind of put it on an inward motion so you don't see any of the wall. So you can see the difference between these three and the next. One other thing I forgot to mention was some people like to cut the bottom of the pumpkin out versus the top. And it's easier for when you light the pumpkin. All you got to do is just pick the pumpkin up, light the candle, and then put the pumpkin down. So that's another way you can do things. Basically, that's kind of pretty much it. After all the steps, you will be ready to have a Halloween night. Just remember about the zombies that I told you about. Don't be scared. It's just Halloween. Remember all the steps I just talked about carving a pumpkin, and you should have a good Halloween night.
Okay, Mr. Donnelly, now turn up the lights and let's see them shine.
We should have done this a couple of days ago. I would have got a pumpkin and tried it. Okay, let's turn the lights off.
That's for that one.
Ah, see that?
See, you had your own design. Skitty, Betty, skitty. Woo!
And that is what we call a jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh.
Wow.